Well, everyone, Auburn officially got the dub against LSU last night in Baton Rouge. Took them a little bit to get going, but they did eventually find their way and they got the job done on the road in Baton Rouge. Alabama almost losing to Mississippi State last night. Mississippi State, for what it seems like, just couldn't make a layup or a big time shot when they needed it, and they fall to Alabama. Now, before we hop into today's video, we of course are going to be talking about the NFL head coaching jobs. We're going to talk about the coordinator jobs, all of that stuff here in today's video. I want to mention that the video that I had planned, which was ULM Road to Glory today, is not going to get out just because my PlayStation is broken. We're going to have to get that fixed before we hop on to Road to Glory now. So there's that right there. But we are going to be talking about the NFL head coaching searches because that is almost wrapped up. We're going to talk about Patriots, Bears, Cowboys, all of that good stuff in today's video. But first, if you guys are new to the channel, you already know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, turn that bell on as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. It is game day at the Mitchell Center in Mobile for the South Alabama Jaguars. They're facing ULM, coming off a loss to ULM actually, and now they go to play them at home. So if you can, come out to the Mitchell Center, watch some good basketball, and cheer on those Jaguars. And yeah, should be a fun night in Mobile. But before we hop in, again, leave a like, subscribe, turn that bell on, and let us go ahead and hop right in to these NFL coaching, coaching updates. All right, so starting us off, we are going to be talking about the coordinators first because there are quite a few coordinator hires here that we have had in this cycle. One very recently, actually two very recently, as of last night, which we are going to be discussing here in this video, so stay tuned for that one. However, we are going to start off with the Browns. They have just promoted Tommy Rees to their offensive coordinator position. I'm sure that was one of the first moves made during this offseason cycle. They had their offensive coordinator. They look ready to work and try and develop whoever they get at the quarterback position, that is for sure. Seahawks, they've hired Clint Kubiak, I believe, as their new offensive coordinator as well. The Bears have hired Declan Doyle as their new offensive coordinator as well. Excuse me, my notes here are a little messed up. But they do have their new offensive coordinator. I'm interested to see how he's going to develop Caleb Williams here this upcoming year and this upcoming offseason if they get Caleb Williams any more offensive linemen, which they need, especially to beef up in the draft, or B, they need to get him some more weapons. Yes, Rome Odunze is a really good weapon to have, but you also got to get him some more experienced guys as well. So I'm interested to see what the Bears are going to do, what direction they are going to do with that one. The Raiders, they have just signed Patrick Graham as their new defensive coordinator. This was last night, so initial reaction, posted that on Twitter. But again, this is a pretty good hire for the Raiders. As we all know, they have hired their new head coach, which we will talk about here coming up shortly. But they have their new defensive coordinator, and it looks like their staff is coming together quite nicely for them. Steve Wilks has officially joined the Jets as their new defensive coordinator. Again, the Jets, one of those teams that has found their head coach, which we will talk about here in a little bit. But Steve Wilks has officially joined the Jets. I know who Steve Wilks is. I have kind of a, not really history, but him being on the Carolina Panthers coaching staff literally before he left to the Jets, if you guys know what I'm saying. We know what Steve Wilks likes. Panthers, last year they gave up the most points out of all the entire NFL in 2024. I'm interested to see if the Jets will do the same with Steve Wilks, or if they have some key defensive players that they're going to bring in for Steve Wilks to do. Now, Steve Wilks, on the other hand, did not really have a healthy defense this past year, so this year definitely was not on him. But in past years, he has definitely made some, I guess you would say, call it questionable decisions when it comes to calling plays for the defense as well. Speaking of defensive coordinator, the Cowboys, they have hired Matt Eberflus as their new head coach. I really don't know what Jerry Jones is doing over there. I don't know what we are doing over there in that organization. Matt Eberflus, yes, I know, has one of the top 10 defenses every time he is at the defensive coordinator position. Now, with that being said, we got to re-sign Micah for him to have a top 10 defense as well. Micah Parsons is a key part in this defense. Obviously, you still have the players from last year, that were really good. You still got DaRon Bland on the defensive side of the ball. So there are key pieces in there, and I'm interested to see how Matt Eberflus is going to kind of work with that defense. But right now, I am questioning, and I'm starting to wonder if it's a better possibility of the Panthers making the playoffs than the Cowboys, which is my two teams in the National Football League. Jeff Umerich has been hired as the new Falcons defensive coordinator. That was one of the first ones that was announced. Very questionable hiring for the the Falcons. Excuse me. I don't know why they went with him. I'm interested to see what he brings. Obviously, they still have their coach that they hired from last year, whose name I cannot think of off the top of my head. But they still have that coach, and I'm interested to see what he brings to the Falcons defense overall. Lou Anarumo, the Bengals' old offensive coordinator, he has been hired as the Colts' new offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator, excuse me. He's going to try and develop that defense. Terrell Williams, another one, he has signed with the Pats as their new defensive coordinator. And Josh McDaniels from the Raiders. He is now the Pats' new offensive coordinator. That is one that I'm very intriguing. The Pats are building something over there, which we'll talk about here coming up shortly. But they are building something over there, and I'm interested to see how they are going to try and develop Drake May, maybe get him some weapons in this upcoming NFL draft. And I'm very interested to see what the Patriots are building over there in Boston. Now, the final coordinating search before we go on to head coaches is Al Golden. The Notre Dame defensive coordinator has officially signed with the Bengals to be their new defensive coordinator. Notre Dame, they had a really solid defense. Other than the NIU game, I know this is an NFL video, so we're not really going to talk about college. But Notre Dame, after the NIU game, they were pretty much perfect up until the national championship game, obviously. But this is a very good hire for the Bengals. Bengals obviously have the leading sack player, I guess you would say, in Trey Hendrickson. And the Bengals, they had their new defensive coordinator and Al Golden to round out the NFL coordinator searching. All right, now we talk about the NFL head coaching cycle. We're going to talk about every single head coaching cycle or head coach hiring. So let us go ahead and get into that right now. Currently, the only team without a head coach right now in the National Football League is the Saints, and the top candidate, of course, is Kellen Moore from the Eagles. He has been interviewing a lot. There have been some differences with the New Orleans Saints, is what a lot of people are hearing. Also, that Giants offensive coordinator who is down at the Senior Bowl is also in the running for the Saints head coaching position as well. So we shall see what the Saints do in due time. But as of currently, they are the only NFL team without a head coach. Now, let us get into the head coaching hirings, with the first one being the Dallas Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer. I don't know why we hired him. I really don't. Yes, he has an offensive mind, but he has never been a head coach before. He has had opportunities where he has been a head coach. I watched the press conference, and Jerry really didn't give a clear answer as to why they hired Brian Schottenheimer as their head coach. So I'm very interested to see what Jerry's decision. If I was in a room with Jerry and could ask him anything that I wanted to, that would probably be my biggest question. Why did you hire Brian Schottenheimer? A lot of people asked that question, but Jerry Jones didn't give a clear response. He was like, he's ready, but this, and that. So Jerry Jones obviously doesn't know what he's doing over at the Cowboys. However, we shall see. I haven't lost full faith in Dallas yet. I'm going to wait until the first game, and then we'll see about that in 2025. But as of right now, the Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer, not a good hire for us and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, moving on to the next hiring, that is the Raiders and Pete Carroll. I like this hiring. I really do. There's rumors that the Raiders are going to sign Russell Wilson this offseason and bring him in under Pete Carroll, because we know Pete Carroll developed Russell Wilson when he was at Seattle. Interested to see. He'll be back on the West Coast if that does happen. And then he can teach whatever quarterback they decide to go after in the NFL draft, or if they decide to sign somebody in free agency who is very young as well. Pete Carroll, really good head coach. I like this hiring for the Raiders, and I'm excited to see what the Raiders are going to be doing in 2025. Jaguars, Liam Cohen, the Bucks, I believe offensive coordinator, don't quote me on that one. Not sure what the Jaguars were thinking when they were hiring him, but We'll see. I don't have faith in the Jaguars again. After this past year, there's not a lot of Jaguar fans that have faith in that team right now. Me personally being one of them. So there's that right there. Jets. Aaron Glenn, this is a great hiring from a defensive standpoint. He's going to develop the defense. He was the Lions defensive coordinator. I'm very excited to see what the Jets do. And if Aaron Rodgers returns, that is the big question of the 2025 offseason. Seems like it's big every single week or every single offseason. Is Aaron Rodgers going to retire, or is he going to continue to play? Sounding like he'll continue to play, though, over at the Jets. And we shall see what Aaron Glenn brings to the table. The most interesting one, though, Ben Johnson. The Bears hiring Ben Johnson, an offensive mind. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with Caleb Williams, how he's going to develop him, and train Caleb Williams to be the best quarterback that he can be. Matt Eberflus, defensive coach, did not work out for the Bears, so I'm interested to see if an offensive-minded guy can work out for the Chicago Bears and their young quarterback. Ben Johnson's also very young as well, so I'll see. I like to see the vibe between the two players. But, yeah, the Bears have hired Ben Johnson as their new head coach. And last but certainly not least, the final head coaching search of 2025 for the most part. The Patriots have hired Mike Vrabel, Tennessee's old coach. I love this hiring by the Patriots. I think the Patriots absolutely killed it with Mike Vrabel. I really do. And I'm interested to see how he develops, again, Drake May, how he runs that offense, if he gets any weapons for Drake May, all of that good stuff, and the future is up for the Patriots. But that does round out the NFL head coaching search. Let me know what you thought of the video in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, turn that bell on, as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Let me know what you thought of every NFL team's pretty much head coaching hire in the 2025 cycle. We have some Senior Bowl practice today. We also have some college hoops going on. We got NBA hoops going on. Lots of sports still going after it this week and this weekend as well. So, before I let you guys loose, hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace.